Hello and welcome to the Central Nerdous System podcast, where everything is nerdy like us. I'm John, and today I'm joined by, no one actually. It's just me. For the EA podcast, I wasn't able to get anyone, so I'm the only one here for this. So I decided to try something different. Let's be risky, try something new. I'm just gonna do this podcast all by myself, which means unfortunately we won't have back and forth discussion between people. But I'm gonna try my best to give my thoughts and opinions on the EA conference that happened earlier today. See if I can relay some relevant information to you. We will have some normal podcasts coming up because we're going to be doing the Nintendo one along with basically every other conference we're going to attempt to do. So just at the EA one, I couldn't get anyone, and I want to make sure this got out at a decent time. I didn't want to wait too long before this information becomes a little too old. So we're going to begin shortly. Let me just tell you that if there's a topic that you want to jump to, if you look down in the description, you can jump right to that. We're going to have a timetable down there so you can look for the topics that you're looking for. Also, if you want to see the actual trailers, that you missed the conference, you wanted to get caught up, I will try and provide as many links to trailers as I can down below. Also, if you want to get into the conversation, go down there in the comments and let me know what you think about the conference. If you agree with me, if you think I'm dead wrong, I don't mind. Just put whatever you want down there. So why don't we get started? And this, the EA conference has always had a reputation for me of being the worst one of the bunch. I didn't like it last year. I didn't like it the year before that. Just, same old, same old. And it's a real shame because I do like EA titles. I mean, I like the old SimCity games. I like The Sims. I was a big fan of the Skate series, Rock Band, the NASCAR titles back in the early 2000s. So, Need for Speed I was big into back in the day. So, I like EA games. It's just that lately their conferences have just really haven't been offering much for me. Like last year we had the Sims 4. They did their stuff with that, and that didn't look interesting. And sure enough, it wasn't interesting because the Sims 4, at least in my opinion, isn't that good. And also you get all the sports games that they say they're going to change, and then every year they don't. But we'll get to that in a second. The big thing that happened at the start of this one that got everyone excited, I would say this is probably the highlight of their conference this year, is Mass Effect Andromeda was teased. They did a teaser trailer for that. Now, I'm not one that has played the Mass Effect series, but I do have a couple friends that have, and they are all completely and utterly joyous about this. They are very happy that this is coming back, and I can imagine if you were a player of the Mass Effect series, I mean, it seemed like 3 was going to be the last one. That's where you had the big final choice, and though some people didn't like the way they handled it initially, Mass Effect is a really good series of games. A lot of decision making, a lot of good story. So I'm glad that it's coming back. I'm not sure though, based on this trailer, when it takes place. If it's going to be a prequel, if it's going to be after the events of the first Mass Effect games. Maybe it takes place tandem to it with different people. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the characters. If you want to let me know down below, you can. But I will say I did like the way this trailer looked. It was a really nice cinematic trailer. Again, because it's early yet, we really don't have a feel of what the game's going to look like. I'm assuming it'll look good because the other Mass Effect games look good. But Mass Effect Andromeda, we'll have to see what happens. They gave a release date for holiday season 2016, so still a whiles away. I think we're going to see more about this next E3. But this was a good way to, start off with the hype for the Mass Effect franchise. So let's move on to our next topic. Need for Speed, just Need for Speed. It's going to be a reboot. So the Need for Speed series, I grew up with it with Hot Pursuit and Underground Carbon. So I do play Need for Speed games. I like the way they worked. But I kind of lost, touch with the series. The newer games didn't look as interesting to me. I don't know, just that the feel to them. I've watched people play them. They're just kind of like, that's okay. But they didn't have the same charm as like Underground did or whatnot. But this is going to be a new, rebooted Need for Speed game with crews and whatnot. One thing I really liked about their the trailer for it was that they showed like the in-game creator. They had live action, and it seamlessly went from the live action actors playing the parts to the car customization thing, and I thought that was really good the way they did that. I was watching a stream that was kind of talking about that a little bit more, but I thought it was a really cool aspect to it. Guitar Hero's doing a live action thing. They're going to do something live action for their game, so it's kind of neat to see them implement the full motion video stuff, which you don't really see much in games. You don't really see many live actors in games. I think last time you really saw that was back in the 90s and whatnot when they had all the CD games with full motion video. So it's kind of a change of pace for Need for Speed, though. I think, did they have live action actors before? Because something tells me they did. But I'm not sure if they were maybe digitized puppet renderings of them. But they announced some different types of gameplays. There's speed, style, build, crew, and outlaw. So, speed is going to be, driving fast vroom cars. Style, I think they said it was going to be like, I forget if they said that was a game mode or if that was just, to style your car. But I think it's about, your driving finesse and whatnot. Building, that is going to be building your race cars. Crew, you can set up kind of like a crew of drivers and do online stuff with them, which is cool. And Outlaw, which is your standard hot pursuit mode. It looks interesting. And I'm not sure it has the same stylistic appeal as say Underground had, because Underground kind of had like that earthy tone, urban feel to it. Carbon had that kind of slick nighttime feel to it with that like kind of like a bluish atmosphere. So I don't know what this one just seems like it's going to be another nighttime one. But it could be good. So. Not a bad Need for Speed trailer for them. We'll just have to see what the actual game is like. So the next thing they did was Star Wars Knights of the Fallen Empire, which is going to be an expansion. From what I read, it's going to be free for subscribers, and this is something more that our pal Derek, who was in the previous two podcasts, would be excited about. I don't really play these games, but looking at their trailer, it was a really good trailer, I will say. They had the two brothers, and they both looked like they were going to be allying with different sides of the Force. And you're thinking like, oh man, the brother in the black costume is going to totally be the bad guy. And all of a sudden, it turns out that the guy in the white outfit, he ends up turning. Something happens to him, and he tries to attack like their leader, and the guy in the black costume, he stops him, and they have this battle. And I think that's an interesting a story thing. The way they did the trailer was good. If we do a video this year of the top 10 E3 trailers, I think that would be on it for me at the moment, based on what I've seen so far. 'Cause I really like the way they worked it. It looks really nice, and I think it's gonna be a good expansion for that. This next one here was really cute. I was pretty happy about this one. It was a new IP. It's called Unravel, and it kind of feels like an indie project. And the guy working on it, he did his spiel about it, and he seems like he really passionately likes this concept of a game. He actually made like here I'm getting ahead of myself. So basically, the game you play is this little yarn buddy, and he's got a piece of thread that kind of comes off the back of him and goes throughout the stage there, and it's a physics-based platformer, like puzzle platformer, where you use the thread that the person's made out of, and you can do all these things. You can swing across stuff and use it to tie things up, and it looks really neat. It's really cute, and the graphics are gorgeous. Like I'm not sure if that's gonna be the same for when they release it, because sometimes they make the trailers a little bit nicer than the game, but it looked beautiful, especially for a small project like this. It's not like one of their main titles. It looks better than some of their main titles, actually. So it was a really nice trailer, really cute. I liked what the developer did. He made an actual real life thread buddy guy, and he went into the woods and he was putting him on stuff and getting inspiration for things, and he kind of shows you his process in it, and I thought it was really sweet. It was really nice. It's a breath of fresh air. It's completely different from everything else in the EA conference. And it was something I was expecting more out of, say, like maybe the Sony conference or maybe during Microsoft's indie wrap-up. But I'm pretty happy with it. I kind of want to look into it some more because it seems like an interesting game. I'm not sure if I'm fully sold on it because, I mean, I do like the occasional puzzle platformer. I do like cute things, but I'm not sure if this is officially, like, like pulled me in. Or if, like lassoed me in with the thread and pulled me in, but... The next thing on this list is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. We mentioned it very briefly in our last podcast at Microsoft because really they just showed the trailer for it. All I want to say about that trailer is that, there were some inventive things in there, like they had like this corn enemy or hero. I forget exactly who the hero and villain of this game is because I think it takes place in the zombie place now. But like he kind of had like a corn machine gun and like the little kernels of the corn were like the shells flying off. That was pretty inventive. But what Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is doing is they added like these new classes. Like they have this little guy who does rapid fire, and they got this like big tough superhero zombie, and I mean it's your standard battler. Again, though, like I mentioned in the last one, I think these battler games they're starting to flood the market. It's going to be oversaturated, and I'm not sure if they're all going to do as well as they think. Also, I mean, I'm personally not sure what the Plants vs. Zombies series is like. I have one of the games, and it's okay, but I know it's a series that people like and whatnot. This could be exciting for them, but it just seems like with all these battler games, with stuff like Splatoon that already came out, I think Splatoon might have a little bit of an advantage to that. I mean, granted, these things aren't coming out yet. Maybe Splatoon's hype will die down by then. But I don't think they're going to meet the same successes like, say, Splatoon's been getting with, how many people are gravitating toward it. Especially because Splatoon's been, a haven for memes and jokes, which I like. I don't have a Wii U. My friend does, though. I don't think he has Splatoon yet. But the thing I really like is just looking at all, like, the Miiverse pictures and all the memes they've been doing. They've been pretty good. There's a lot of clever people out there. Yeah, I think Nintendo's embraced the community as well because they've been doing stuff about it. If you haven't seen our community here, you definitely should. Cause it's really cool. But Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, I don't know, it just doesn't interest me. What's some stuff here? So, they did a gameplay trailer. You can do solo play and split screen play, which I guess is really nice. If you wanted to play this co-op with a friend and not have to, be online. This is something that was interesting, but I'm not sure exactly what this entails. They said you can import characters from previous games to be in this one. So I'm not sure what that'll do. Maybe like the previous title, there was some characters in there that you maybe could add to the game. I don't know. They also said there's going to be free content updates as time goes along, which I believe I guess that's good in terms of the DLC, but it could be something like Splatoon where maybe their game isn't like fully realized yet and they want to make sure they get it out there in time. And then they'll say like, well, here's the free thing that fixes the problem. And it's like, oh, okay. Look, more content now. We just had to wait a bit. So, yeah, it's basically Plants vs. Zombies. They did a trailer next for NHL 16. Looked basically the same. Really nothing to say there. You can say that with most of the sports games, actually. And I'll do a little rant on that in a second. But the PGA game, they said something that was kind of interesting here. They said that there is no load times between holes, and it takes 15 minutes off your play time. That is... Like, I have not played the PGA games. I've seen my cousin play them before I watched them while he played there. And there was loading screens, I remember. But the idea that it's 18 holes and 15 minutes of load time between those? That's pretty hefty load time, especially when you think about, other games that can load up an entire world. Why these games can't? Maybe is it the way they programmed it? Is there something special about these courses? Are they so hyper realistic that the system can't handle it and they have to load each individual one or what? But it's kind of crazy to think that there's 15 minutes worth of loading for just, one 18-hole game of golf in that. I mean, I'm glad that that's gone, but that seems like something that maybe they should have taken care of a while ago. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure what they're doing there. Though, if you played the PGA games, you don't mind the loading times, let me know about it. Because, I mean, I get kind of upset with long loading times. The longest loading times I personally put up with are The Sims. Back when I had my older computer and things didn't load that quickly and whatnot. Because, once I get into The Sims, you really don't have many loading screens anymore. At least with, Sims 3. Sims 2, you still have loading screens, but they weren't as, prevalent as other games. They showed Madden. They said that it's got a training mode and a new physics engine. But I think it's going to probably boil down to it's going to be the same game again. I know my coworker was really excited about that. He was talking about his favorite things from the conference while I was at work with him. And he said, yeah, I'm really excited about the new Madden. I love Madden. So, I mean, yeah, you can like the Madden series. I'm not going to say you're wrong or anything, but I don't know. It just looks like the same thing again. If there's a complaint, it's the same thing again, then it showed in the trailer. Just maybe it looks slightly nicer. I don't remember looking at much different from last year. I looked at the trailers they put out before E3, and really not much looks too different there. It just seems like the same thing they say every year. Trust me, it'll be different this time, and we never get it. Last sports game I'm going to talk about here is NBA Live 16, because they did a thing with the face recognition thing. Because last year, for 15, they had a big issue with their face scanning thing, and that led to a lot of hilarious memes of grotesque beings being created in the character creator. We actually played with that, me and my friends at my friend's house, because he has the game. And all of us, it completely bungled up our faces, with the exception of Matt. Matt came out near perfect. So I don't know what about that guy is so photogenic that he managed to fix the machine, but I guess maybe just got to work. So now I know that part of the problems that it had was the lighting that you have. Because if you did this in a dark room, it wouldn't work. If you had uneven lighting, it would look weird. But on stage, they brought the guy up and they said, hey, try the thing. So he's like, all right, he did it. The lighting looked a little uneven, but when they got into in-game, the lighting looked consistent. So this means either two things. Either one, they fixed the facial scan technology to adjust the lighting contrast to make all the lighting even. Or they're a bunch of dirty liars. They just did that face thing earlier in a perfect environment and just kind of made believe on stage that they were doing the thing. I don't know. I like to think the first one, but EA has burned me a couple times in what I thought they were doing, so you can never be too sure. So the last two things I want to talk about were two games that they talked about. Battlefront, which we've been hearing for a while now. I don't really have much to say on that because we've talked about it a lot on here. It's going to be Battlefront. It looks okay. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big first-person shooter person. If you guys are excited about it, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what excites you about it. Because, I mean, for me personally, I'm not completely blown away by it, though I'm more of an quirky indie title gamer. But the big thing that I do want to talk about that looks really interesting is Mirror's Edge Catalyst. They did a trailer for it, and they proudly toted at the beginning that all of these cinematics were done in engine. So everything you saw there, 100% from the game engine itself. They didn't render it out in a different program. But it looked really nice, really strong graphics engine. All the animation was really smooth and whatnot. It all looked beautiful. The characters were nice. the way they set up the trailer was good with, like, you know, you are our workers, you are our mindless beings. And, you know, the main character, Faith, she's kind of, you know, bucking the system. So it was a really strong trailer. The only thing I worry about is when they say this is recorded in engine, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what the game is going to look like with gameplay, because they could have just done it in the engine without, you know, putting in the gameplay controls, just doing that to save maximum space to make the graphics as good as possible. But given what I saw in, like, you know, like alpha footage, it still looks nice to game. So I think it'll still be impressive. With the title of Mirror's Edge Catalyst is usually like the starting thing, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a prequel. I haven't really looked too much into the Mirror's Edge franchise. I haven't played the first game, but I do enjoy the visual style of it. I like the uniqueness of, like, you know, being a parkour game. But yeah, I thought the trailer was really impressive. It's got me a little bit hyped for it. And I may check into it a little bit more. Issue why I haven't played a lot of these games is that, you know, I don't have, like, all the free time in the world. I don't devote it all to playing video games, but I do enjoy video games and I do like talking about them, so I guess that's good enough there. So that was the EA conference. What did I think? Well, it's not as bad as other years, but I think it's still lacking. I really think the only plus things in this conference were Mirror's Edge and Mass Effect. Some of their stuff in the beginning, because Need for Speed wasn't bad, Knights of the Fallen Empire wasn't bad, Unravel wasn't bad. This was a decent one, but I wouldn't say it was, you know, like, completely flawless. It wasn't like last year, though, where we were like, oh, worst ever thing ever. I will say, though, of the ones I've seen so far, I'd probably say this is the weakest. But they do have some good stuff. If they keep playing up the Mass Effect, maybe tone down the sports games. I mean, not that I hate the sports games. I like sports games. I was a diehard player of the NASCAR franchise when they were still doing those. And I've played Madden before. I've played NBA. But it's just that with the sports games, all their innovation just kind of seems like meh. So that was what I thought about the Electronic Arts Conference this year. I want to know what you thought about it. Leave it in the comments below. If you wanted to jump to any topics that I mentioned in this video, they will be down in the description, along with links to the trailers if I can link them. I should be able to link all these. Most of these have been available for viewership, so in case you missed the thing, you want to make your own opinions, you can watch the trailers for yourself instead of just hear me describe it to you. If you like what you saw, though, hit us up with a subscription. We're going to be doing podcasts on the remaining conferences. We already did 2 so far. We did one for Bethesda, and we did one for Microsoft. This is going to be our 3rd one in a row. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Nintendo, Ubisoft, and Sony. So I hope you'll tune in for those podcasts. Thank you for watching. I know the format's a little bit different this time, but let's see if we can go with it. So thank you for watching this podcast, and I'll see you next time.